Hey, I am so excited to be sharing with you today and to my friends and my listeners and followers the solutions to some of the questions they asked me this week. I have people ask me questions a lot. That's why this show is called Ask Linda, because I've always wanted to be like Ann Landers or Dear Abby, but being a counselor for 30 years, I've always gotten a lot of questions. So this week, when I asked if you were to get a video, if you were to see one, what would you click on and watch? Well, one of the people said that they would watch one on how to deal with this pandemic anxiety. And someone else said dealing with kids during this pandemic. And someone else said, how do you deal with being a perfectionist and never feeling like you're good enough? And another person said, how do you keep going when you feel like you're almost there, but you want to give up? So I kind of wrapped all of that into one big video that isn't going to be real long. So stick with me for a little while. And if this sounds like something yeah, you really kind of need to hear some of these things, then please give me the thumbs up, and you might want to be following me because I'm going to be doing a lot more like this. So I came up with 6 steps. And I actually have put a whole workshop together because this is a huge issue. And having gone through this pandemic and having COVID myself, there is a lot of stressors that go along with this. And there's a lot of annoyances. And there's a lot of people that really bug me. And everything has changed. Everything has changed. And I just came back. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be 65. I didn't think I'd ever say that. But I got a phone call from the doctor this week and said, hey, you can come and get your vaccine. I feel guilty almost getting it when there's so many others who I think need it worse than I do, but I live with people that are very high risk. So I was blessed to get my shot today. But to hear that, well, it doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It just means that you won't get it very seriously if you do get it. And yes, if you do get it, you're still going to be contagious. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought we were done with this. But you know what? They just don't know. They don't know enough yet. So how do you deal with that? Because life is on hold. It's been on hold for almost a year. If you're watching this and it's way past this pandemic, well, thank God. And just, hopefully there won't be another one in your lifetime or mine for that matter. But this has been difficult. So how do we do this? Well, coming from my perspective, I grew up in a Lutheran church, and 45 years ago, I came to a realization that alcohol and drugs was not the way to go. That did not solve the problems for times like this when you're stressed out and you don't know what else to do, and that just seemed like a quick fix. And I decided there had to be a better way. And somebody said there was, that if you let God have your life, he can do really cool things with it. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. So that's my first step. Let go and let God. That's one thing that you hear if you've ever been in a 12-step program or really anywhere. Let go and let God. I don't know what God means to you. For me, I have a lot of Bible verses that really have helped me over the years, that have given me the strength that I have and the hope that I have. But I've also learned tons from lots of people throughout the course of my life. So that's my first thing that I have learned that we need to do, is to let go and let God. We also need to not sweat the small stuff, not sweat the small annoyances. Now, the small stuff, you've read that book, and it's a great book, and there's a whole bunch more of that same type of book on not getting stressed out over things that don't matter. So, okay, what does matter? What does matter? Well, it matters if we have a purpose. I think that matters. It matters if you feel like you have some reason to get up in the morning and do something to help somebody. It matters if you are healthy enough to do that. But how do you deal with it if things don't go that way? And when I had COVID, I did not feel well. I couldn't get off the couch. That's not normal for me to not get off the couch and go a million miles an hour. But we have to cope with what is. And that's just the way it was. So the small stuff when it comes to stress and anxiety and that whole sense of not being good enough, the small stuff is if we have a list of things to do and we don't get that list done, that's not a big thing. That's a small thing if we don't get our whole list done. In the big scheme of things, if the dishes didn't get washed or, the kids didn't get a bath or, something didn't happen as we planned for it to get done, that's not the end of the world. And here's the best advice I ever had. Expectations are premeditated resentments. And if you look at our whole world right now, everybody expected things to go different. We all expect other people to behave differently. And we expect so much more of ourselves that we end up in constant disappointment and frustration and consequently resentment, even towards ourselves, because you shoulda, coulda, woulda done better. If only this, that, and the other thing wouldn't have happened. That's an insane, insane way to live. I've lived that way a lot of my life. So this has been my battle to go through, which is why it's really good. I'm taking a group of people through a 12-week course now on the 12 steps on a Christian basis. And oh my gosh, it's really refreshing to go through it again and realize I've come a long ways, but I still have a ways to go. Am I going to beat myself up because I'm not there yet? No, I'm not. I'm not. So that's another thing. Remember where you came from. Remember where you came from. Where was that? Now, some people may think, oh, life was so much better way back there, but keep going back. Was it really that much better? Would you like to go back 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, 15 years? Would you like to not have the life that you have right now at all? Would you like to not be here? And unfortunately, there are some people that feel that way. But listen to me, you have a purpose. God created you for a purpose, and it's a good thing. And that purpose is going to help you, and it's going to help others, because if you're not doing that purpose, people are going to miss out. And you may think, well, what could I possibly do? Well, you can answer the phone if somebody needs help. Now, granted, maybe you can't always do that. You could take somebody to the doctor. You could just be there to listen. You can read your kids a book. You can read somebody else's kids a book. You can comment on something like this. You have no idea how much those of us who are doing this online stuff appreciate people giving the thumbs up, doing the follow, hitting the bell so that if I do any more videos, you get notification, and commenting. It really matters. Not only does it matter because we realize that, hey, this is worth it. This is why I'm on here. This is why I'm doing this for you. If you're watching this, I'm doing this for you. So please stay to the end. For one thing, it helps my algorithms. I need the algorithms to be bumped up. And if if you don't like what I'm saying, just go to the bathroom. Okay, but leave the thing going, because it's gonna help my numbers. And seriously, that'd be great. Go watch all my videos, just put them on, go about your business, or leave it in the background, but keep it going, because it helps our algorithms. I didn't know that. That's how people get to where they are, because the more that people watch, the more people like, the quicker they watch after you post a video, the more they come. All these things add up in YouTube's mind and go, whoa, this is a really good video. So it really does help those of us. So that's what you can do. You can be my groupie and just follow me around and do that. That'd be awesome. So if you have nothing else that you feel valuable about doing, I am not making light of this. It matters. It matters to me because I get up every day to help people. I'm getting choked up. It matters. I don't think there's anybody on YouTube or anywhere that isn't on there to make a statement to help people. Sometimes it's very twisted how they think they're helping people. But the majority of all the people that I follow are on here to help people. And you could be too. I mean, if you're interested in being my guest on one of my shows or something, that would be great. Just let me know. So, another thing, play the tape to the end. A lot of times we are impulsive in what we do. Like for me, back in the day, and even now, eating, I'm trying to eat really healthy and exercise and do good things and be responsible with money and, just a lot of those things. But impulsively, we go out and do stuff without thinking. And then there's a consequence. As sometimes it's drinking or using drugs because you just want to get rid of that rotten feeling that you've got right now because you're tired of it. You're tired of feeling, frustrated and angry and upset, and you just want to take the edge off. But for some of us, the edge off ends up drunk and driving, and all kinds of other bad things happen to people. Fortunately, I did not have a whole bunch of bad things happen. I did have enough to lead me to realize this was not a good choice for me. But a lot of other people, they make other choices. It may not be drinking or using drugs. It may be snapping at your spouse or yelling at your kids or just sitting doing nothing until your house is completely trashed, and then you feel horrible about stuff. It snowballs. This whole thing snowballs because when you have a negative thinking that I'm not good enough, I'm never going to be good enough, this is awful, and you have that toxic thinking, it causes you to be poisoned throughout your whole body. It affects your mind, it affects your feelings, it affects your thoughts, it affects your gut health and your headaches and everything. Seriously, it's a bad thing to think negatively and to feel hopeless and helpless and depressed and anxious. There are ways to change that. And you can do this. That's the message I have for you today. You can do this. Maybe not alone, because you wouldn't be watching this if you could do this alone. You had already figured it out. You wouldn't have to be searching YouTube to find a video to help you with your anxiety or your perfectionism or figuring out God's purpose for your life or whatever you typed in there to find me. Or just because you're being nice and you're helping me to build my YouTube channel, which is really cool too. So that's a good enough reason. But seriously, there is a reason for you to be here. And if you're here to support me, please let me support you. I'm going to put a whole bunch of links in the bottom, but I want to review for you. If you didn't write them down, here they are. First thing, let go and let God. That's the first thing to remember. Second thing to remember is don't sweat the annoying stuff. Don't sweat it because it's not going to help to sweat the small and annoying stuff. Third thing, remember where you came from. Then you need to remember to play the tape to the end. If you are a drinker, play it to the end the last time you got drunk, or play it to the end the last time you got angry with someone. How'd that work out for you in your relationship? Play it to the end. And the last thing, you can do this with a little help from your friends. So I've got a lot of people that are willing to help other people. I'm willing to help other people. As a matter of fact, I put this whole thing together here. It's Where's Your Serenity? Find Peace, Purpose, and Pandemic Hope. It's a 6-step workshop guide. I'm doing it for free. I may not always, but right now we're still pandemic mode and I'm doing this for free. You can do it in 6 hours if you want. You can do it in 6 days, which is how it'll come to you on your email one each day will come to you, so you can work through the steps every six days. Or you can do it every 6 weeks or 6 months. I don't care how you do it. You've got an option to do it, to get the whole kit and caboodle at one time if you want. So I'm going to put the link in down below here so that you can sign up for that if you want to go through my 6-week or 6-step workshop challenge guide. And I say challenge because it isn't easy. Some of the things I'm asking you to do in here, which is looking at your own thought process. Do you have toxic thinking? Do you need to think differently? Do you have a purpose? Do you know what it is? If not, okay, you need to look at that. Where are you heading in life? You know, where have you come from? Are you being grateful for where you are? So these are some of the things that I have in here that I want to offer you. And I also want to offer you a free coaching session so that if you are stuck and you don't know which direction to go, I want to help you get unstuck. And maybe I can help you and maybe I can't, but I will do my best to try to help you find somebody that can help you get unstuck. So I'm really grateful that you've watched this to the end. This is really going to be helpful. And I got to tell you, my most successful video, I mean, I've got thousands and thousands of views, and I'm like, I'm going to create more videos like this other video. It was my funniest memory, my most embarrassing moment. I took a challenge once and did this 2-minute video on my most embarrassing school moment. And you'll have to watch it, but it's called my fishnet stockings, most embarrassing moment with my fishnet stocking. You won't believe how many people have viewed this. So I went to look for what were people looking for, thinking it was ADHD or most embarrassing moments. No, they were all looking for fishnet stockings. I mean, I got some pervs on there that really thought I was hot. So, I would love to get some other views that are getting more than that thing with people looking for fishnet stockings, because I didn't have any to offer. Maybe I'll get some to sell. Anyway, I'll quit talking now. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. Really appreciate it. And if you need to reach me, I will put it down below, but you can go to my website too. It's lindalarsonschlitz.com. God bless you. This has been fun.